What does ChatGPT mean for data science? Short answer, nothing. Long answer, our society probably isn't ready for the advancement of artificial intelligence on this scale. And I have some thoughts about that. In case you didn't know, because you've been living under a rock, you've been living in space, or you just don't bother to keep up with current events, which is pretty fair in this day and age because there's always something going on. ChatGPT is what they call a large language model, LLM for short, developed by OpenAI, the company that's allegedly, quotation marks, going to take over the world. ChatGPT is capable of understanding user input, and then it generates appropriate, at least they should be appropriate, responses based off data available to it. How the response is appropriate depends on who you're talking to. Some people feel their work is being ripped off. Others feel the responses just aren't up to par. Thing is, everyone has mixed feelings, not just about ChatGPT, but about the advancement of artificial intelligence in general. And honestly, it's for good reason. See, ChatGPT is like the first kid to make it to the playground, but just because it's the first one there doesn't mean more aren't coming. I think that makes sense. If you own a LinkedIn account, for example, and you follow anything data science related, then there's at least one post a week, at least one, where you see, and the person that posted goes something like they're using ChatGPT, insert random emojis. Yeah, 1,000 new AI tools put into production overnight that can outshine ChatGPT and help automate your workflow. And then they just list like a bunch of stuff that's able to send my email for me, or is able to close a tab on my browser for me, or something that isn't really a game changer, but that's not what this is about. So let's just shut that notion down. If you're deep into the tech community, there's a chance you probably found some form of AI tool that's more useful to your everyday workflow than ChatGPT. It doesn't mean it's better. It just means it's more useful for the specific applications that you have for it. But for the average person, ChatGPT is king. Let's face it. What does this have to do with data science, software engineering, or pretty much anything tech related for that matter? Well, a whole lot. Right now, we're in a race to see who can develop the best AI tool the fastest, almost as if the only thing that matters is the end product, because that's how businesses work. I'm sure anyone can guess what kind of problems that would potentially and eventually lead to. OpenAI CEO himself said that the technology is something to be intrigued by, but also to be cautious of, since we're still learning it as we develop it. We're developing it, but we're still learning about it. And we're not 100% certain the extent of these programs that we're creating. We don't know how much they're going to learn, how much they can learn, and what they're going to do with this knowledge. Probably seen a few movies on that before. But again, what does this have to do with data science? Well, a few years ago, before I started, data science meant so many different things. Today, when you think data science, you probably think artificial intelligence. The two have become synonymous with one another. So if you're in data science, you're probably one of those people that work on AI, which means you're the enemy to those people that hate technological advancements. If you're getting into data science, you're probably being told to get familiar with LLMs and AI and all of the implications and just everything within that space. If you're in school for it, you probably noticed that your program might have got revamped recently to keep up with the changes. Funny enough, that's actually what happened to my program. And I'm pretty certain it's due to what I'm going to be calling the AI boom, which is basically from like time when ChatGPT blew up in around like November, October 2022. And now I feel like since then there's just been so much in the conversation of AI, and it's just growing more and more every day. But hold on, wait, before you go down to the comments and you just start to wreck my entire argument, I know not every single data scientist out there has experienced this. Mostly speaking to the new positions that are popping up. Shift in focus. Remember a few months ago when people thought ChatGPT would take the jobs of programmers? Yeah, I don't think that's happening, which is why my short answer in the beginning of this video was nothing. You're not going to be replaced as a data scientist or software engineer, whether you have a PhD or you're self-taught. AI isn't going to take your job. Our positions require problem solving, critical thinking, and all of that stuff that make us feel smarter than we may actually be. I don't think AI is on that level yet. So rest easy, my fellow tech workers. They're going to keep our jobs for just a little bit longer. What does ChatGPT have to do with data science? I don't know if you saw my last video, but I'll have that linked in the description down below. Comments if you did see it, thoughts on it, thoughts on this discussion, where I'm going. The rise of AI, ChatGPT, and other things that are similar to it have pushed the popularity of the data field and really the tech field in general just so much higher than it was, I want to say, a few years ago. I know during COVID, like tech positions kind of blew up, and you've probably seen the memes where like during COVID, tech workers would receive an offer for some obscene amount, and they would basically be like, no, double it. And then the company would double it. And then the meme would go like, after COVID, tech workers would like call the recruiters back and ask them if they have a job and that they'd be willing to work for half, somewhere along those lines. Obviously, it's not funny if I explain it, but if you've seen it, comment below. Let me know. You probably know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, then yes, you just won't be a part of the inside joke. That thanks to this boom in the field becoming so popular, you've had this influx of talent, which is good, right? You want more capable and talented individuals, especially in a field like this. The more talent, the better the advancements we can make, and blah, blah, blah. But downside is the attention that it's attracting. You have people that were already skeptical about what it is that tech workers do. And now with the rise of AI and its general popularity, like amongst not even just tech workers, but the general public, meaning people that have no idea what's going on, and they don't really try to begin to understand it, or they do a quick Google search and Google basically says AI is bad. And so they come to the conclusion that AI is bad. And then they look at the people, us, that design the AI, and then they go, well, AI is bad, you design AI, therefore you are bad. That right there is the problem. It's not the only problem, it's a big part of the problem. So remember earlier when I said the problem with the advancement of AI is that we as a society aren't ready for it? So here it comes. I'm going to tie everything together now. This is it. What does ChatGPT mean for data science? With the rise of AI, data science has went from a field that was pretty broad and focused on just not only artificial intelligence / machine learning, but also like some form of data analysis and solving business problems and efficiency and all of these different things. Now it's like super focused, at least popularity wise, on artificial intelligence and machine learning. The outside world, data science is artificial intelligence, right? So what that means right now, the money maker is artificial intelligence. So a lot of businesses are starting to build out like their data science teams, and they're bringing them on, and most of it is to build AI. And so you have everyone, I don't know, some insert random names here, coming together to create different variations of a ChatGPT, for example, and they don't have like the expertise or the proper staffing to build out these advanced large language models, and then they're deploying them out into the world for other people to use. And because again, our society isn't ready for these things, they're taking these tools and they're just doing or making an absolute mess with them. Like I'm sure you've seen posts somewhere on Reddit or somewhere on Google with early persons that got selected to like try and help train Bard, for example, or like when the Snapchat released their AI LLM model. I'm tripping up my words. Which, why does Snapchat even need one? But remember when Snapchat released theirs, and I think I saw like a few screenshots where people got the bot to admit that it knew where they lived after it said that it didn't have access to that information. Or I've seen posts on Twitter, for example, where someone had ChatGPT, no, it was Bard at their disposal. You have this LLM at your disposal with so many things you can ask it and do with it. And their main goal was to get it to say racial slurs and just things that it shouldn't say and make jokes that it just shouldn't make. So that in a nutshell is what I mean when I say our society is not ready for the advancement of artificial intelligence. And on a day-to-day basis, this doesn't mean much if you work in data science, but long term, it's probably going to mean something as the general public's outlook changes on what they look, on how they view the people that create this technology. That was long-winded. That was a lot. But I think I got my point across. Let me know in the comments down below. What are your thoughts? Do you think our society is ready for artificial intelligence at the level that it's at? Do you think we should continue to build it out? Do you think we should maybe pump the brakes and take a step back and reevaluate what it is we're doing, where we're trying to go? And that's all I have. As always, if you found anything I said in this video enjoyable, left you with more questions, it might have, or you're just interested in what's to come next, then do yourself a favor, do me a favor, hit the like button, leave a comment down below. Let me know what was something that you got from this that either raised the question or answered the question. And then of course, be sure to subscribe. That way you're always up to date with more conversations like this. And with that, I'm out.